the statement of mainstream of European Union is quite severe for Hungary.
Never in the history of the European Union has a country taken the presidency that isn't a democracy anymore, that is under an Article 7 procedure, that has a majority of its EU funds frozen because of rampant corruption, violation of EU values.
I really find it completely not credible for the EU itself that it's led now by a corrupt authoritarian regime.
We don't see so much of the Hungarian presidency. It's quite invisible. I haven't seen much of it here. You haven't been contacted by, so it's a very invisible presidency.
We've seen Orbán visiting Moscow. He's visiting Beijing, not for a European agenda, but just for his own agenda and undermining the European strength.
Viktor Orbán has actually, in violation of the EU treaties, misused the presidency then to travel to Moscow, to travel to Beijing, to travel to meet Donald Trump.
The visit of Prime Minister Orbán to Vladimir Putin was a terrible mistake, in my opinion. The visit in China, it was important.
He is acting as if he makes the foreign policy of the EU. Every time he managed to surprise the member states.
I mean, call it a peace mission, and then is there a result? Normally when you have a peace mission, you should see a result. It was a provocation. You know, what was very disturbing for the European Union is seeing all the pictures and the videos by the Hungarian government and seeing the logo of the presidency on it.
In the treaty, it's very clear the rotating presidency has no role in external representation of the European Union. Orbán is doing that anyways, and he is harming the reputation not only of his own country, but of the entire European Union.
People get shocked every time that these things are happening, that he's really provoking. So he's actually making sure that we keep on being shocked. It seems that this is also part of his agenda, part of his game.
This is a deliberate action of Orbán to undermine Europe, but even, more dangerously, he's pretending that he's working for peace. It was very clear, this is not a European presidency. This is just a person that is doing a personal show, by the way, to hide a bit all the scandals that he's suffering from, trying to use a bit of a show to hide from that. But it's not serving any European, neither any Hungarian. And I think that is a common feeling in this parliament.
I was in Luxembourg when the Hungarian ambassador for the European Union presented the program of the Commission. It was shocking that one of the biggest problems we have now is the unprovoked attack on Russia, on Ukraine, that this was not even mentioned in that press conference. And by the way, the Czech ambassador and other ambassadors who got very upset.
Yeah, we need to do damage control and we need to speak out. Not only the Parliament, but actually the Council and the Commission should do the same.
The two last presidencies, the Spanish and the Belgian presidencies, have been so active to close as many files as possible, not to leave it to the Hungarian president. His active role now of the presidency is a bit less than in a normal time.
It was good that we were busy with electing a new president, now coming up with hearings for a new commission, and that there is not so much legislation on the table for the Hungarian presidency.
Normally at the beginning of every presidency, the whole College of Commissioners goes to the capital, meets with the national parliaments, and it's a very important moment of a presidency. I think the Commission reacted very well, and the Parliament, where we said no commissioner will go during the presidency to Hungary, that was a consequence of this provocation,
Of course, also in the Council, you had a lot of ministers who didn't want to go to Hungary. There's also the European Commission who said we're not doing business as usual and we have as many meetings as possible in Brussels. We don't go to Budapest. I mean, I think it's very clear that this presidency is very much tainted by scandals and mistrust to what Orbán is doing.
I expect that in the coming months, he will keep on trying to test his position and trying to pursue his own agenda.
I'm particularly worried about, the period around the U.S. elections that he might misuse, in fact, the role of presidency, I don't know, to cheerlead Trump or to sow confusion, depending on how the election goes, that basically then the EU all of a sudden says things that we all don't want the EU to say.
Sokat mondó, hogy Várhelyi Olivér biztosi kinevezését kuncogással fogadta az EU-s közönség.
Oliver Várhelyi will be the Commissioner for Health and Animal Welfare. He will be responsible for building a European health.
It's an interesting portfolio because I think he has no clue about it. He will have to start studying a lot now.
A magyar jogállami eljárásért felelős képviselőnek nem csak Orbánról, de Magyar Péterről is volt véleménye.
Very long time he was one of the partners in crime, so to say, of Orbán. We really need to get more clarity on where he stands. He may be against Orbán and maybe also address the corruption, but if it comes to rule of law regression, like the Article 7 procedure in the Council, he doesn't seem to be very motivated to work for that, to really have a restoration of rule of law. We need to, to get more clarity in that sense.